Let's make some royal icing together. Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm a home baker in the state of Michigan. I share all types of content about my business and baking, so make sure to like and follow along for more. Now, if you have seen me before, I'm normally in a vertical, not horizontal. I do post shorts here on YouTube as well as all the other major social media platforms, but I figured it was time to start posting some longer form content as well as some more drawn out and just explained tutorials. So if you guys do have suggestions of things or types of content that you want to see, please put them down in the comments below. I would super appreciate any suggestions that you guys have. But I figured my royal icing recipe was a really great place to start because not only are there like thousands of royal icing recipes out there, but there's just so many different tips and tricks and things that you can or shouldn't do. And it really is a great place to start when you're wanting to really advance in your sugar cookie decorating journey. If you don't have a good recipe, it's going to be really difficult to master the rest of the process. So let's make some royal icing together and talk about all the tips and tricks and the things that have helped me along the way. Let's talk about meringue powder for a minute because this is the key component in your royal icing, and the type or the brand of meringue powder that you use really does matter. Now, this is the brand that I've been using for probably almost a year now. I come back to Wilton's every single time. It just works really well for me. I never find clumps in my royal icing. It tastes delicious. It stores really well. It holds color great. And I've tried some of the other really popular brands that a lot of people talk about on Amazon, and they just do not work for me. So while you do not have to use the Wilton's brand, use whatever works for you. This is what I use in my recipe. This tub, because it is just straight meringue powder, it lasts me quite a while. And right now I'm a little bit in a slower season of my personal orders from my local customers, but I do also create a lot of content as well. So I am constantly making royal icing. Now, what you're going to find with some of the other royal icing mixtures that you find out there is that this is just straight meringue powder, okay? I add the powdered sugar to this. I control how much water, how much meringue powder, and I think that that's really important. Now, there are royal icing mixtures out there that come with a big bag or a tub, and it has meringue powder in it, and then it also has sometimes vanilla extract. It has white food coloring. It has the powdered sugar already incorporated. So you would take 2 or 3 cups of that royal icing mixture, dump it into a bowl, and add water, and you would be good to go. Now, I think, in my opinion, those are more expensive because you're paying for everything mixed together. You can't necessarily control the right quantities. And in my opinion, like I said, this is more affordable over the long run. So I'm going to be using Wilton's brand meringue powder today. This is a 1/3 cup of water here in our measuring cup. I'm going to take my meringue powder and add 3 tablespoons. Now, your meringue powder is actually going to be the aspect of the royal icing mixture that's going to allow it to harden. So the amount of meringue powder that you put in your mixture is also going to basically determine how quickly your royal icing is going to set and start to crust over. Everybody's is different. I think that you really have to play around with it and determine what works best for you. But I will tell you that my recipe is very beginner friendly. This has a great set time. It's not too quick and it's not too fast. Now, I will say that if you try this exact recipe and you do think that it sets too quickly, because your royal icing setting also has to do with where you live, the humidity levels, the time of year, all of those components play into it. So if it's setting too quickly, add only 1 or 2 tablespoons, but you can start with 3 and it should be fine. Now, you can do this step in the bowl of your stand mixer. I just do it separately. I don't really know why. It's just how I've always done it. It's what works for me. If you don't have a little hand frother, which is what I'm going to use today, put all of these ingredients that I'm talking about in a bowl or in your stand mixer bowl and just do the whisk attachment and whisk it before we add the powdered sugar. Either way, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons of our meringue powder in our 1/3 cup water here. Now, the other thing with royal icing is there are a ton of people who will tell you you have to use clear vanilla extract. I personally do not find that to be the case, and I think it's because the part in my process in which I add it. Using clear vanilla extract, I think, in my opinion, is a preference, especially if you make it this way. I do not like buying clear vanilla extract. It's hard for me to find. I don't know that it's necessarily more expensive, but I buy my vanilla extract at my Sam's Club. It is real vanilla extract and it's affordable comparative to some of the other places that you can get it. So you need some vanilla extract. I just take the same tablespoon and I fill it up about halfway. So it would be about 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And we are going to actually add this straight into our water mixture with our meringue powder, just like that. So like I said before, if you have a milk frother of some kind, you can go ahead and use it right now, or dump all of this into your stand mixer or a bowl with a hand mixer and just whisk it. The point of this step is to get our meringue powder nice and fluffy, and you will see that it is going to double, triple, and quadruple in size. So let's mix it. All right, so once you have given your meringue powder mixture a good stir, it will look nice and fluffy like this. And if it's already in your bowl, then you can just leave it right there. But I'm gonna dump this mixture into my stand mixer bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and attach my bowl to my stand mixer right here. Close up my meringue powder and put that to the side. Royal icing can store really well at either room temperature or in your freezer, especially if you use meringue powder. It's very, very shelf stable. There are people who use a royal icing recipe that requires real egg whites. Just be really careful when you do that, because royal icing made with real egg whites doesn't last as well. It goes bad much quicker, and it is more expensive because unless if you live under a rock, eggs are insanely expensive right now. So meringue powder is the way to go. Now, before we start mixing our meringue powder with our powdered sugar to make our royal icing, you also want to make sure you have some type of white gel food coloring available to you. Now, this is really important, in my opinion, to add to your royal icing because it is going to help prevent color bleed. And basically what that means is when you start decorating sugar cookies, you're going to split up your icing into a few different containers, maybe make it a few different consistencies, but you're also going to make it a few different colors. So in the past, I've had a cookie that was a white base. It had a yellow S and then it had a blue border. And I actually had my yellow bleed into my white, and it kind of created this ring around that area on the cookie. It makes it look unprofessional and just not well done. And it can be really frustrating when you spend a ton of time trying to make sure your cookies are really beautiful and then they end up color bleeding. So adding white to the base of your royal icing will actually help prevent that. Since I started doing that, I have not had any issues with color bleed. The other thing about royal icing that can help prevent this as well is making sure that you whip or mix your royal icing for the right amount of time. Now we're gonna go ahead and add our powdered sugar to our mixture and start whipping it so it turns into royal icing. I get all of my baking supplies typically from my local Sam's Club, not only because my powdered sugar comes in bags that are 7 pounds, but it's also more affordable when I buy in bulk. You do not have to sift your powdered sugar. I've never experienced where I need to, especially when you do it this way, when your meringue powder mixture is already in there and there's already water in there. It usually works itself out. If you want to sift your powdered sugar, you can, but it's really not necessary. We're going to add about 4 cups into our stand mixer here, and we're going to start mixing. I feel like I can never pour powdered sugar into a container without making a mess. It just like never happens. I'm just gonna gently dump this entire thing of powdered sugar right over top of this meringue powder mixture. I like to use the paddle attachment for my royal icing. I think the whisk attachment has a time and a place, but the whisk attachment is so annoying to clean, especially on royal icing. You can just soak it in really hot water and it will come off, but I just prefer the paddle. It's what I use. You do not have to have a stand mixer to make this. You can absolutely do this with a hand mixer as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and take my white gel food coloring, and we are going to add probably about 2 teaspoons worth. I don't measure it, I just kind of squirt away. And then also as your royal icing mixture starts to whip up, you are gonna see it change to that white as it gets nice and fluffy as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my stand mixer on about medium speed. We're gonna incorporate this powdered sugar first, and then we'll see if we need to adjust the water level at all or not. Okay, so after the powdered sugar is just barely incorporated, I do like to stop the mixer and just get any of the powdered sugar that's hanging out on the edge of the bowl here. And just make sure it's all incorporated, but you can, maybe you can't see from this angle, we already kind of have a royal icing mixture. Now you definitely want to mix this much longer, but it's starting to take shape. So we're gonna go ahead and turn our mixer on about medium speed, and we're just gonna let it whip. We wanna let it whip in there for, I would say, at least 5 minutes, maybe 7. So I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like now, and then we're gonna come back after that 5 to 7 minutes, and I will show you what it looks like in the bowl after that. So this is what it looks like now. It's kind of, it just looks like royal icing. It's white, but it's gonna grow in size and it's gonna get nice and fluffy. So now we have let this whip for about the 5 to 7 minutes, and I'm just gonna scrape this bowl down and show you that our icing has grown in size. It is bright white and it is ready to be colored, and any consistency that you want, you can add water to this and it will start to loosen up, which is why my recipe starts the royal icing at about a toothpaste consistency, which is quite thick. And then from there, I thin it down based on what I need it for. This consistency is really great for florals. Writing, I would thin this down just a little bit depending on the script. And then, of course, outlining and flooding your cookies. So you can see there that it is bright white. It is nice and fluffy. And now you have some beautiful royal icing that you can use to decorate your sugar cookies. What do you do now? Now, in this video, I'm not going to talk about consistencies, color, anything like that. If you guys want a detailed tutorial on how I color and change the consistency of my royal icing and what consistencies I use for my custom sugar cookies, let me know, and maybe that will be my next tutorial. But basically what you want to do is get this in an airtight container right away. As royal icing sits exposed to air, it is going to start to crust over. Now, if you want to make this and maybe let's say you have some cookies in the oven, you need to wait about 20 minutes before you're ready to use it, you can put a damp paper towel over this and it will prevent it from crusting over. If it does crust over, all you do is just add a little bit of water in here and then remix it, and that will remove the crust as well. Now, any consistency looser than this, like I said, you're just going to want to add water about 1 to 2 tablespoons at a time. A little bit of water does go a long way. And if your icing does become too loose and you need it a little bit stiffer, you can actually add a little bit of powdered sugar back into here and it will thicken it up for you. So there you go. That's how you make royal icing. She is beautiful, she is fluffy, and she is delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what other content suggestions you have down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one.